Alright, in this video, I want to talk about my Saturday movie system and how it's evolved, because I've watched a movie every Saturday since the start of 2012. Yeah, that streak has yet to be broken. So it all began in 2011, about 13 years ago now. God, I feel old now, realizing that 13 years ago now was when I started high school. Next year will be my 10-year reunion. But getting back on topic. Okay, getting back on topic. It all began when I got the Star Wars The Complete Saga at the time Blu-ray collect box set from Best Buy. I had pre-ordered it a couple weeks back, and I made the purchase after getting out of school on Friday. I remember it was the day that my ninth grade world history teacher actually had my entire class take the American citizenship test, which the strange thing about that is I was literally the only person who passed it. That's right. If I were facing deportation and I had the chance to take the citizenship test, I would have been, if my class was, if that class were full of people who had to pass the citizenship test to stay in the country, I would have been the only one who passed. I would have been the only one who stayed in the country, and the rest of my class would have gotten deported if it were the real deal. But I won a cosmic brownie, and I became a little concerned about the fact that I was literally the only person who would have passed the citizenship test. You know what? Maybe I should take it again, just for fun. I mean, it's a little more complex than that, I think. If I recall The Simpsons correctly, Apu had to answer some oral questions as well. But like I said, I passed the one in world history class because it was Constitution Day. Anyway, focusing back on movies, I went to Best Buy right afterward and picked up my Star Wars The Then Complete Saga Blu-ray box set, and after going over to a Walmart to get my hands on this Lego Star Wars special on Blu-ray that had a special Han Solo minifigure, the next question was how to distribute watching the movies. So the next day after the Clone Wars Season 4 premiere, which is why I didn't watch The Phantom Menace that night, I sat down and watched The Phantom Menace on Blu-ray after getting home from my cousin's second birthday party. Yeah, it was fun to watch it, and then every Saturday afterward, I watched through. I watched one from Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones all the way to Return of the Jedi on the second to last Saturday before Halloween. Then I kept it going with watching The Lord of the Rings The Return of the King theatrical cut because it was 1 year to the day that I'd originally watched it back in the day, because a year prior is when we had first gotten a Blu-ray and a Blu-ray player, a higher quality television, and The Lord of the Rings trilogy on Blu-ray. And I did those on the last 3 Fridays of October in 2010. Then in November of 2011, after watching a movie every Saturday in October, I kept it going with the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, followed by Vampires Suck, which I kind of watched as I could in around a birthday party for my great uncle that we went to that night. Yeah, I didn't really think to just watch it during the daytime because my dad wasn't too big on letting me watch TV during the daytime back then. It was really only up until 20. It was really only in 2018 onward that I was pretty much free to use an actual television whenever I wanted. That's a story for another day. So that's when cracks started showing. I don't remember what the rest of the December ones from. No, I think the third was. I can't remember the rest of the movies. I know Toy Story and Toy Story 2 were in there somewhere. And then Christmas Eve, I think it was. I can't remember. No, I remember. Well, I do remember on the 10th I went to see Pokemon on the movie, the black version, because they were doing the two different versions of the same movie, one black and one white, because of Pokemon Black and White versions. Yeah, one of them was the one that aired on Cartoon Network because I saw the other one in the theater. Fast forward to Christmas Eve, I think I watched. No, the 17th I watched Elf. The 24th, you know what? Forget it. I don't remember. I just know that on New Year's Eve I did not watch any movie, and that's when I decided right there I was gonna watch a movie every Saturday going forward. And I called it my Saturday movie system. So 2012 came along, and the first one was, fittingly, Pokemon the first movie. Because I'd gotten the DVD of that either. No, I bought it at Movie Stop at some point on like Black Friday, I think. Then the 14th was Giratina the Sky Warrior, and then the 21st, which technically wasn't really a movie, was the 1990s Stephen King's It TV movie that was actually a miniseries. Yeah, that's really the only flaw in the system. That was really the only deviation from a film with an MPAA rating. And I kept going with Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Squeakquel, and then various other ones. Like I remember I first watched Top Gun because my computer science teacher said that it came out around the time he was in the military too. I remember I watched that one on St. Patrick's Day because my brother, dad, and I went to Burger King because they had green ketchup for St. Patrick's Day. Well, overall, those first few months of 2012 were pretty good because I had a movie to look forward to every Saturday, and I was also buying up like a new game every week for my 3DS, occasionally the Wii, mostly the 3DS because I didn't have to worry about the same screen time limitations from my dad, especially because I bought all the games for myself and I bought the system for myself. So at that point, there was really nothing they could do to take it away from me. I remember March 31st was The Incredibles, and then April. Oh wait, I just remembered February 11th. The first theatrical trip of that Saturday movie system was the Phantom Menace's 3D re-release. So basically, what it became, what it was, and what it became was mostly movies that were at home, with the occasional theatrical trip. That's what I call them. Far fewer than I would eventually start doing in the late 2010s and early 2020s. It's hilarious. I'm actually going back to a frequency more in line with that now, just not restricted to Saturdays. So in March, there was also the first Hunger Games movie. And from there, I'd go like one theater release a month, if that. April, I kind of did something called Marvel Madness because of build up to the Avengers, which is how I realized those Marvel movies were connected. And that's when I really became hooked on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When I went to see the Avengers in May at the drive-in, because I had to coordinate because I had to actually get other people to come along with me. I had to figure it out and make it happen. I had yet to actually go to a movie on my own. I had gone without parental supervision at that point when I went to see Transformers Dark of the Moon with one of my friends, and then some other ones we just happened to run into that day. But yeah, I would coordinate with whoever I had to go see them, and every Saturday I would get a new movie digitally, and then I would watch it on the TV. I'd have to share it with other people for the most part. And that's pretty much how it went from 2012 through 2016 for the most part. Yeah, the fact that I was watching on a TV that was in a common space with the speakers actually on meant that I kept it to G, PG, or PG-13. I wasn't really comfortable with watching R-rated movies until I was 20 years old. So after the first 5 years of G, PG, or PG-13 movies, I added a Friday movie system dedicated to R-rated movies, or alternatives, meaning rated R or anything that I wouldn't have put on Saturday. Eventually it just became dedicated to R-rated movies. First one was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back at home. And then at the theater, the very first R-rated movie I saw at the theater at the age of 20 was Patriots Day, which is one of my favorites to this day because I just think it does a great job depicting the real world heroism of first responders in the week following the Boston Marathon bombing and the manhunt. And yeah, I know that Mark Wahlberg is a composite character, but the depiction of the real world heroes like J.K. Simmons' character was amazing, and I cry every time because of just how brutal the whole thing is. I'm sorry. Okay. Getting back on track. I did a similar thing with R-rated movies for Friday, parallel to the Saturday movie system. The cracks began to show in the 2020s when theaters shut down, more movies started going premium VOD or direct to streaming, and I had to eventually decide what constituted a Friday movie or a Saturday movie. So from there up until 2022, it was GPG or PG-13 movie on Saturday, R-rated movie on Friday, one of each per week on those respective days, one at the theater, and then eventually sometime in the 2020s, yeah, I started adding a backup movie at home, meaning that I would watch one first thing in the morning to make sure that I didn't have to strike it from the record in the event of a power outage or a fire alarm, which, funny story, last month when I went to see Heretic, the fire alarm did go off right before our showing was going to start, and I was very fortunate that I didn't have my show interrupted or abruptly ended. It was just delayed. The start was just delayed. They skipped the previews when we were able to go back inside, and I just couldn't stay during the credits like I usually do on account of the fact that, that they had to get it ready for the next show. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to wait around here and make the theater employees' jobs harder. And I'm not just saying that as a former movie theater employee myself. So yeah, that's why in early 2022, I decided to keep theater movies separate from the Friday and Saturday ones. Those were exclusively at home, but they were all movies that I had purchased in some capacity, mostly Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray, because I was a physical media guy at the time. The last movie I went to see on a Saturday before a couple that I have actually seen this year was The Batman. The last one I went to see on a Friday before I outright abolished the system at the end of 2022 was The Kingsman on Christmas Eve 2021. So from March of 2022 onward, I was mostly just catching up on Blu-rays that I had bought in bulk and had to finally watch through so that I could say I watched it at least once. Meanwhile, I would mostly go to the theater on Tuesdays with the occasional Thursday preview show thrown in there. And then fast forward to the end of 2022, and I was feeling really restricted by the whole Friday, Saturday movie thing. And I decided to just abolish Friday and reformat the Saturday movie into something new. And to reflect changes in movie distribution, because of all the movies that were going straight to streaming or PVOD, or coming from the theater to streaming in a much shorter window, as little as 17 days for PVOD, and then as little as a couple months for streaming services at no extra charge. So on New Year's Eve 2022, I broke the decade-long streak of watching a movie I owned a copy of every single Saturday from early 2012 until late 2022 by watching Strange World on Disney Plus, because that came to Disney Plus at no extra charge in like a month after it released in the theater. And you know what? I can't say I completely regret skipping seeing it in theaters. That's honestly what I'm going to do more of with Disney animated movies, thanks to the likes of Moana 2. And it probably also doesn't help that there's likely to be disruptive children in the audience, which I don't hold it against them, but if that's something I can expect when I go see an animated movie like that at the theater, I think I'll wait for streaming and not spend as much money. Anyway, 2023, I amended this whole list of rules I had to any movie released within the last year that is available somewhere to watch with an MPAA rating is fair game. So that's what I've been doing ever since. It's now been 102 weeks, and I plan on keeping that going because it's a lot more dynamic. It also has to be a new movie to me. So again, anything released within the last year that I haven't seen before. So anything I missed from the theater, anything I want to see that came straight to streaming, is fair game for that. So yeah, this video went on for quite a while, so I'm gonna leave it here for the video. If you made it to the end, be sure to give this video a like, comment what you think of my whole Saturday movie system thing, because I still like the idea of giving myself something to look forward to at the end of every week, even though now with the instant gratification job and doing YouTube and such, the line's a little more blurry compared to when I was in high school. And it was Monday through Friday, school stuff, and then living for the weekend. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.